Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome back to Anime Symbol, and I'm back with part 2 of What If Naruto Had Yhwach and the Soul King abilities. Remember to get this one too. 100 like as usual. Share this to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also, guys, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice, yes, that is correct. I indeed have 3 channels which I post What If on every single day for you guys to enjoy. All the links will be down in the description. So go ahead, check them out, and yeah, enjoy, guys. And don't forget to turn on the bell notification to see when I post, because I do post a hell of a lot. So without further ado or wasting any more time, how about we jump right into this brand new episode? Let us begin now, guys. So, the last part that we left off, a battle of the ages were taking place. A clan, known as the Quincy clan, was currently facing off against the entire world alone. The leader of this clan was a man known as Yhwach. Yhwach was friends with the Uzumakis, to the point that he inspired many of them to even disown their own clan to fight alongside with him, while the other Uzumakis joined the entire world. A battle of the ages as Madara Uchiha, Hoshirama Senju, and several others, all Kage 11 ninjas, took on Yhwach. He was fighting and basically taking all of them on by his own. However, in the end, he lost. But his loss was not something that was not predicted by him, because he saw something. In the finale, all of the Quincy's bodies erupted into sparkling energy as it flooded towards one person, a Uzumaki woman that was found. Believing that she was on their side, the Konoha ninjas brought her and her friends back, as all of that energy flew into her and her unborn child. She was brought to Konoha after the war settled down, because the Uzumaki clan was left with just a few members, where she gave birth to a child there. Yes, as that child fell in love with a Senju and gave birth to a baby girl known as Kushina Uzumaki. Kushina Uzumaki took on the role of the Jinchuriki after Mito passed away, because all the other Uzumakis died out, which was unusual and strange. All of them being friends with Kushina's grandmother. Something didn't seem right. The day of the 9th attack, a boy was brought into the world, named Naruto Uzumaki, as his heritage was kept a secret even away from him. As it was the first time they were sparring at the academy, Sasuke believing that he was the best of the best here. However, Naruto was not only able to predict all of his movements, he easily evaded Sasuke like it was nothing before knocking him out of the ring, humiliating Sasuke, as everyone was shocked, even their sensei Aruka, as Naruto wasn't from a clan or a background that would have trained him. Upon making his way home, Naruto thought about the reason why. Ever since he could remember, he had these premonitions. That is what he believed they were. He could see certain things. It took him a while to realize that he was actually seeing in the future, but these premonitions blessed him with enhanced abilities, because he could evade anyone by seeing what they were going to do. The more older he got, the longer they stay, and it seemed like they started to become more than one. However, he was caught off guard when the apartment next to his someone was moving in, as he met a young girl with dark hair. Her name was Mina Ichido, as she introduced Naruto to her older sister, who was Urza Ichido. as they just moved in and Mina was going to be joining the academy. They never lived in Konoha as they recently got the acceptance to come and live here, and they were happy to do so. As the time went by, Naruto and Mina became closer friends. The kids at the academy told her to stay away from him. That is what their parents told them, but Mina did not care about that. As she and Naruto became closer friends, he learned that she lost her parents, and her sister has been taking care of her ever since. Having found a work in Konoha, she was taking care of her younger sister. As Naruto and Mina became close friends, Naruto did not trust people easily. However, over the years, he started to open up more to her. There were things that Naruto kept to himself, things that he never really told anyone. As he proceeded to tell Mina, he believed that he was a Quincy. He read the history and saw the Quincy was a race of people that went to war against the entire world, and they lost. Raishi, the strange energy that he could accumulate, coursing through him, he believed that it was Raishi, as he saw it in the book. There was a lot of mysteries about the Quincy, but how he was one of them he did not know. Mina promised that she would not say a word to anyone, but returning home that night she spoke to her sister, and it seems like they knew more than Naruto even know. As it seems like they had been watching him more than that, as Urza called him something strange. The Quincy King. As the time went by, Naruto was able to see the future of none other than Mizuki, as he saw what the man was going to do. He was going to kill Iruka. Naruto couldn't allow that, as Iruka was one of the few teachers that did not see him as a nuisance despite him never being one to bother people. So Naruto went to the woods that night and faced off against Mizuki, who underestimated Naruto gravely, not expecting Naruto to craft a sword made from pure energy. The both of them clashed. However, when Iruka showed up, Mizuki decided to use Iruka as a scapegoat. He threw a kunai towards Iruka. However, Naruto stepped into the future itself, and this time Naruto saw many different things that would happen. The next moment, the kunai was destroyed, sparing Iruka's life, despite the weapon should have been able to hit him and kill him. Naruto was angered by that. Death was something that Naruto never truly accepted. How could one just be gone from this world? It was a whole different philosophy with him. In that moment, Naruto released his spiritual energy. As Iruka and Mizuki was crushed under the weight, Iruka told Naruto not to kill him so they could question him on what he was doing. He then proceeded to pass out. As Mina and Urza felt it. Also, someone a far distance away felt it as well. It seems like there was a lot of mystery about Naruto that he himself did not know, as Harrison was also worried as he felt this unknown power. So yeah guys, basically let's left off, you guys can switch across and please check out for yourselves as we begin this new episode. Is there anything you would like to say? Hiruzen Sarutobi asks Naruto after his battle with Mizuki, and Naruto being told about what he contained. Hiruzen was just finishing up, telling Naruto that he was not the fox. There was no reason for you to explain that part. You've known me for a long time now, and you know me quite well, and you know that I'm not stupid, said Naruto. I never thought I was a fox, not even once. I know, Hiruzen said. But I just wanted you to hear it from me after the lies that he told you, Hiruzen said. So back to my earlier question, is there anything that you want to say about it, he asks, waiting for some kind of rebuttal from Naruto or something else. Naruto's gaze was locked on the man, focused intently so. He did not blink, he was just looking at him. Naruto walked over and sat down on the couch. You were the student of the first and second Hokage. Hiruzen nodded, wondering where Naruto was going with this, as he had yet to ask Naruto what he really wanted to ask. There was a battle that took place in the past. A battle between the entire world and one clan, known as the Quincy clan. Hiruzen's gaze narrowed when he heard that. How do you... I read about it, said Naruto. What is your new fascination in Long-time history, Hiruzen said, and that particular battle, as he knew that wasn't taught at the academy, so he would like to know. These Quincy people, they're all dead, aren't they? Said Naruto. Yes, that's correct. The clan was wiped out. I read something a long time ago that said, the victors are the one that write the history. Was the Quincy people that bad? No, they were worse. Hiruzen said, stepping towards Naruto. And what made them so terrible was their leader, a man known as Yhwach. His ideology was not to let the great nation stand as they were. He was going to rip it down. And it did not matter who got slaughtered in the process. Thousands would have died, and that wouldn't have concerned him as long as he achieved his goal, which was, I'm not exactly sure. At the time I was simply a child. I wasn't up in front on the battlefield. But a lot happened back then that I'm not sure or aware of. Hiruzen said, lying to Naruto, not truly feeling like it was a good thing to divulge such information. Naruto had no idea that the Uzumakis helped the Quincy because Konoha tried to keep it out of the records. Having the last name Uzumaki was something that was a bit worrying for Hiruzen. However, he could not strip the boy of both of his heritage. Outside of Konoha, that is. To the rest of Konoha, the Uzumakis that came here were family friendly and loyal to the village. However, there were still some that held a grudge against the clan. Despite the clan being extinct except for Naruto right here, he doubted that Naruto would ever come across those members that still had a grudge for the Quincy and the Uzumaki clan because of the deaths that passed down in the generation. After all, hate can infect another's child if they let it, and many people allow it to infect their own children. So yes. However, here is in doubt that it would ever caught up to Naruto, despite the name that he bear. However, if he ran around speaking about the Quincy and the ideology of Yhwach, that would just bring unnecessary pressure that Hiruzen did not want for the boy. So he wasn't about to tell him. Naruto seemed satisfied with his answer. Time for Hiruzen to ask, I want you to tell me the exact details of your battle with Mizuki and why you were out there in the first place. Oh, I was training, said Naruto. I usually spend nights training to sharpen my skills. Hiruzen believed what Naruto was saying after all. Iruka was the one that came to him, who was rather surprised by Naruto's incredible fighting style for someone that wasn't from a clan background. The boy seemed to have been putting the extra work in. He kept a balance, academic and fighting wise at the academy, despite knowing that there were more. Naruto never truly go overboard, never allowing anyone to see just how truly great he was. Naruto kept out every single thing about his abilities and what he saw. Confirming with the old man, it seems like Hiruzen saw the Quincy's as nothing but monsters, so he decided to just keep it to himself about what he was going to tell him. Spending the next 30 minutes in there, as Naruto was able to head home. He head straight home as he saw Mina and Ursa door locked. They were probably asleep, it was late. He himself was tired as he decided to get some sleep as well. Upon making his way into his room, Naruto headed straight for the bed as he collapsed on it. However, it was like falling through the bed and falling on the floor. When Naruto reopened his eyes, he was in a strange location as he looked around rather confused. He heard movements around him as he tried to pinpoint where they were coming from. However, the place was just too dark. That is when two blue lights erupted above head, causing Naruto to see someone. It was a man, long dark hair and a mustache, dressed in black and white, sitting down on a throne-like seat, his arms folded in front of his face as he leaned forward slightly. Naruto immediately got to his feet, expecting a fight, having no idea how he got here. However, the man raised one of his arms, showing that he wasn't here to fight. "Who are you?" said Naruto. "My name is Yhwach," he said. Naruto froze as that name came back to his mind. That can't be. You can't be the king of the Quincies. You're supposed to be dead." "That I am," he said. "Wait, does this mean I'm dead now?" said Naruto, confused how that would have happened, as he had no recollection of dying. "No, you are not. I stored my last remaining essence inside of you. You fully awakening your spiritual energy was a trigger to allow me to come to the surface. And why would you do something like that? What is your connection with me?" "Answers. You've sought them for so long, trying to understand everything from your vision to your power as a Quincy." "So I am one," said Naruto. "Yes, and that's because you are my great-grandson." I'm your great-grandson?" "Yes, my beloved was with child the moment I took my final breath. That child grew up and had your mother, and your mother had you. Our line, our connection," he said. "And why was that even allowed? Given the kind of person that history depicts you as, I doubt they would allow your child to simply exist. You are a smart one that asks questions about things that truly does not seem to make sense to you, not following any trend, thinking for your own will, something I find rather astute," he said. "However, they never knew that it was my child. They believe that everything died along with me. So what now then? Are you gonna try to take over my body or something? To try to become me, to return back to the land of the living? Of course not. This essence that is speaking to you will eventually run out, sooner than later. I am here to pass my will on to you. The fight that you know as the fight for the world could have ended in our victory, but the victory that I would have taken that day would have never last. Problems would have arisen, and I was not strong enough to handle them all." "What do you mean?" "The power that you've seen with your own eyes, the glimpse into the future, is known as the Almighty. Unfortunately, my sight was limited throughout my entire life. However, there was one moment that I saw everything. I was able to breach past any aspect of time and see in the future where I saw you. I have never reached those limits before, and that is when I knew it. You were the one. My goals would have been obtained, but through you," he said. "And what goals are those exactly?" said Naruto. "My only intention was to take away the thing that people fear the most in this world. Many would have you believe that it was just a basic instinct, but the constant fear of death is always there." You want to take away death?" "Yes, I do." Naruto found similarities in what he said with what he has been thinking about lately. Could this really be true? Could his will be living through him? "Why?" Naruto asks. "My origin is not known by any, except for a handful of people and myself. A time beyond when the first being walked this earth with chakra. A time of nothing but simple living. No advances of chakra. Nothing to help boost one's physical attributes. The slightest wound would lead to a death sentence. We didn't have doctors, special medics like we do nowadays. In those times, it wasn't about living, it was about surviving. I was deemed unfit for that world the moment I was brought into it, unable to hear, unable to speak, unable to move. They saw me as something that should be taken away before I grew anymore. However, upon first being touched, a piece of my soul was shared with the individual. And so, everyone started to arrive. Because my soul gathered inside of them, it healed all physical and mental wounds, all aspects of them being broken. In these times, it was pure misery, so that brought them great peace. And when they died, because they did not live long after, I got their talents, their experience, everything. As I grew, I started to be known as Yhwach, the name of the god that they worship at that time. But then, bloodshed was still a thing. Thousands would march to their deaths. Chaos and bloodshed would be a lot more direct and violent. They didn't have chakra or anything to help them. I came from a very large family and I watched each member of my family be slaughtered. At the time, unable to do anything, as my power was not yet to a point that I could protect them. I started to question the very definition of this life and death. Why couldn't I create a world without death, destruction, and chaos, stripping away the most basic function that humans seem to possess, taking away the negativity behind one closing their eyes forever, a goal I seek to accomplish. As I grew and gained my abilities, I stopped every single war. I put an end to it. Those who did not abide by my rules were slaughtered. I realized that I needed help, so I shared a piece of my soul, imbuing others with my power, making them the first few quinces that ever walked this earth. The last name that was granted to me, which later on became the Quincy clan. The earth was under my command, under my control. I had prevented death, but it still had not stopped. I couldn't exactly completely put an end to it. And then he showed up. Who? Said Naruto. A being that I've never seen before. It said that it sensed me, sensed my power, that it hasn't come across any that possess a power like this. It wanted to see how truly strong I am. We fought. The reason I was given was, it was just testing me. It possessed such unbelievable power. I fell. I was unable to defeat it even with the advances of my people. A lot of them were slaughtered that day. In my final moments, I seek to know who was the one that would put an end to me. And he gave me a name. Shibai Osusuki. Who's that? Said Naruto. That's another story. Something that you will face in the future, however. This time, you will not fall. Now I shall continue. In my final moments, I finally awoke in my eyes to see everything and not just one path. The Almighty. Shibai told me that because of the fight that I gave him, he will not destroy my planet. He will not absorb it. He ended my life right there. But my essence were not destroyed. And after 900 years, I was finally brought back to find out that a few members remaining from my clan were still alive. As long as my essence was still there, they live eternally. Something myself did not even know. When I woke up, things were different. There were clans. Everything had changed. It took me another few years to get back on my feet. I then created the Quincy clan once again as I watched war and chaos take place. This time I decided to study it, to understand it. There was the likes of Hoshirama Senju, Madara Uchiha, and many others with great abilities. As the time passed, peace was brought, but that peace could never be lasted, as war was already brewing with the other nations that had been built during the chaos. And I decided to put an end to it after joining with the Uzumaki clan. Joining with what? There is many that you still don't know about your own self, but I shall reveal them all to you. My aspect was different on the way that I was going to go about removing death and combining everything into one. However, I was able to see far beyond. The power of my Almighty was lacking. However, what I saw was yours. The combination throughout history, the blend of the Uzumaki clan, the Senju clan, it turned you into a being of power that would far surpass mine. And that told me all I needed to know, that the victory on that day could not be mine. My followers saw that as well. As I show it to them all, we're all connected, they're my children. And that day, the Quincy clan fell. So you sacrificed everything and everyone, making them all die, including yourself, because you believe that I would be some savior. I do not believe, I know. The possibility of futures that we all can see is almost endless. And in all of them I see you as the one to fix everything, to stop everything that I could not stop. However, my past shall die with me. This is no longer about the past, this is about your future. And know that you finally awoke in your spiritual energy. Every single one of my past comrades, their power is now flowing into you and becoming one with you and the power that you were birthed with, including the Almighty from birth that will make you truly unstoppable. And what if I don't want that, said Naruto? What if that is not what I desire? Yhwach got off his chair. Naruto noticed that his body started to break apart, yet he walked forward with a stride. Naruto expected a fight, but the man didn't seem like he was charging at him. Instead, Yhwach placed a hand on his head. You will know what I know, understand what I understand. He then leaned down and whispered into Naruto's ear. The choice is yours. The future is yours. And remember, not all comrades should be seen as friends. And not all foes should be seen as enemies. What does that mean, said Naruto. You have to tell me more. If you know about my future, tell me everything. It is not my place. What do you mean? You're my great-grandfather. You're supposed to help me. Yes, and I've done just that. It was never my place to reveal everything to you. You are the one that will take the future in your hands, not me, as I said. My time has come to an end. He held out his hand. As a blade formed in his hand, the same blade that Naruto used. Before Naruto could even blink, he drive it into his chest. Naruto's eyes widened, and now everything becomes one. Naruto screamed as he started to see blue markings spreading over his skin. The next moment he jumped up. His eyes widened as he was lying on his bed. He looked around confused at what was going on. He made his way to the bathroom and splashed water on his face, the memories returning back to him like a tidal wave. Did that really just happen? No. There was no way that could be a dream. Not so precise, not so focused, Naruto told himself. So it was real. When Naruto looked up, his pupil, there wasn't only one in his eye. The next moment it returned back to normal, causing Naruto to step back. Time skip. You're joking, right? Mina said. Do I look like I'm joking? Said Naruto. Fine, I get it. So how does it work? I can see glimpses into the future, but now I can feel it. Strangely enough, when I look at you, I don't see your future. Is that weird? Wait, if you don't see my future, does that mean I'm going to die? No, not like that. There are countless people that I've seen and I've not seen their future, so maybe you're just one of them. I'm still not sure how this thing works, but the more time go by, the more I'm starting to know things. What do you mean? For example, said Naruto, as he conjured his blade. This time, his blade turned into a bow and arrow. An arrow materialized out of nowhere, the Raishi, and fired as they were secluded within the training ground. It split through the tree and went through another one before dissipating in pure Raishi. And I did not know that before. I'm gaining knowledge that I never had, said Naruto. Yhwach told me that his past is not mine, and I'm supposed to make my own future. So I don't think that he's going to pass on any memories, but these abilities, I never knew how to do these things before. So where does this leave everything now? Mina said. On moving forward, I thought you said that you were going to consider speaking to the Hokage. I was, but not anymore. Things are more complicated now. As I told you when you told me that you were going to talk to the Hokage, I think you should keep things on the wrap for now. Yeah, and I told you that I wouldn't do anything until I speak to you first, so I'm not going to tell him anything yet. There's still so much I don't know, and until I know everything, I'm going to keep this a secret. Well, you know about it, but I'm not going to tell anyone. Come on, you do trust me, right? Of course I do, said Naruto. Now let's go. We're going to be late. Upon arriving at the academy, as Naruto and Mina proceeded to have their seat, Kiba was sitting to the far window right, Akamaru his puppy on his head. Hey, Naruto, he said. Naruto turned to face him. What is it? So, are you and Mina dating? He asked. Why? Said Naruto. Well, I don't want to step on anyone's toes when I make my move. Naruto looked amused. Make your move, he said. What's with that look? Kiba asked. Nothing. Go on right ahead, said Naruto. Hey, Mina, Kiba said, as Mina was sitting on Naruto's other side. No. Oh, what? I heard what you said. I'm right here. I mean, you barely whispered. You know what? It's a no. But you didn't even hear what I have to say yet. Didn't I just explain that? She said, looking towards Naruto. As Kiba turned his head, looking rather bummed out. Sorry, pal, said Naruto. I guess she's not interested. Tuh. I bet that is just for now. When I become the greatest ninja to ever walk the earth, even become the Hokage, girls are going to be throwing themselves to get at me, so I'm not going to even let that budge me, he said. And right back on the horse. The motivation with you is crazy, said Naruto, as Akamaru yipped on top of his head. Iruka came in the class. As Iruka looked towards Naruto, but no words were said between the two. They had a conversation when Iruka was brought back. The man was thankful to Naruto for doing as he had told him out there, and for also somehow saving him. Iruka had no idea what happened to the kunai. With that, he congratulated them for passing. Yes, he was happy that they passed, and they were now going to be shinobis of the Hidden Leaf Village. He told them about the trials and tribulations and that things were just getting more and more dangerous. However, When he got to the teams, he started to speak. As he went from team to team, when he reached Team 7, he called Naruto, Sasuke, and Mina. Mina looked towards Naruto with a smirk. I guess we're gonna be on the same team. He then went to Team 8. That was Kiba, Hinata, and Shino. Team 9 was still in circulation as he went to Team 10. Naruto narrowed his gaze. Something didn't seem right. Team 8. Hinata was high up in the class with the Kunoichis. Shino was a pretty smart person. However, Kiba was not that high. The team was balanced. Even the Inashikacho, while Shikamaru was smart and Naruto knew that, he did not really focus that much, making him low in the grade department. Choji was balanced, and Ino was a pretty smart girl. His team, on the other hand, made no sense. Sasuke was strong, yes, the number 1 in the class. The only reason why he was number 1 was because Naruto tended to hold back a lot. And Mina was up there with the top girls. She even secured the spot as number 1 Kunoichi. His team seemed a bit overpowered than most. Maybe he was just overthinking things. As their senseis were called out to them, soon after their senseis came to pick them up. When the last one was left as Kiba smirked towards the group, I guess the loser team is gonna get the loser sensei. Don't mind him. He's just angry that you turned him down. I'm not, Kiba shouted at Naruto. Wait, said Mina as she got out of her chair. I was just feeling pressured to say no, because Naruto was beside me, and I didn't want him to feel too bad. I'm sorry I turned you down. If you would like, I want to be with you, said Mina. Kiba's eyes went wide. Would you like that, she said. Yes, 1,000,000 times yes, he said, as he jumped forward with his arms extended, only for her to hold her foot up as his face slammed against it. Kiba fell back. What the hell? As she started to laugh. So easy, she said. You know it's not nice toying with someone's feelings like that. And it's not nice making fun of people either, she said, looking down towards him, before going to sit beside Naruto once again. As Kiba begrudgingly walked away, making his way outside. With that, Naruto got to his feet and stepped towards Sasuke, his hands behind his back. Naruto stood right over his desk and looked down towards him, causing Sasuke to look up at him. No words were said between the two, as Sasuke's gaze was not pleasant. I bested you the first time we fought. We haven't fought since. However, I'm pretty sure that I'm still vastly stronger than you. What? Sasuke said, getting up to match Naruto's height. However, Naruto was still a bit taller than him. That's good. That look in your eyes, that fire, said Naruto. If you're going to be on a team, I don't want my teammates hating me. However, some friendly competition, some rivalry, I wouldn't be above that. So, do we have a deal? No hate, but just to see which one of us is the better. Naruto extended a hand towards him. A better man would shake that hand. Sasuke grabbed Naruto's hand as he started to apply force. Your little fluke the first time we fought is never going to happen again. And the next time we do fight, you're going to see that very clearly. Oh, I can't wait. My, you can cut the love tension with a knife, Mina said, standing beside them now. Oh, what? Sasuke said, pulling his hand away and stepping back. Oh, did I perhaps touch a nerve? I mean, look at Naruto. He's unbothered by what I said, but you on the other hand. Be quiet, Sasuke shouted, causing her to laugh, as Naruto chuckled slightly. He folded his arms as he sat back down, proceeding to ignore the two. I was just kidding, Mina said. Besides, we're going to be in the same team, and Naruto is right. We need to get along. You know, I never saw what the other girls saw. The obsession that they have with you. I mean, you are cute, but nothing to fawn over every single day. It surprised me that most of these girls in the class want to be actual kunoichis, when that role does not fit them at all. But cheer up, you're still quite the popular guy. I wonder what's taking our leader so long, said Naruto, as he stood there looking towards the door. Maybe Kiba was right. Maybe we did get a loser sensei. Time skip. No. This is getting ridiculous. Where the hell is he? Patience, Naruto said. He will be here. However, Mina was not taken to that rather well. This guy's really getting on my nerves. Everyone else arrived on time and yet, he's nowhere to be seen. It's pissing me off. In that moment, they heard a sound as the door opened up. Mina looked around as she saw a chalk on the table. She watched as the man poked his head in. She launched a chalk right toward his forehead as it clattered against his head protector. Really? You couldn't dodge that? I thought you were supposed to be a Jonin. Kakashi reached up as he wiped the dust off his headband. And I thought you were supposed to be a kid with sense, not an annoying one. What? You're the one that's late. Ah, that. I got lost on the road of life. What the hell is that supposed to mean, she said. I got lost on the road of life. Why don't you all meet me on the roof in 5 minutes? With that, he was gone. I think I'm gonna really hate this guy, Mina said. You barely know him. First impressions last a long while, she said. With that, they made their way towards the roof as they sat down. Now, why don't we start with some introductions? Your names, hobbies, dreams, and goals. Why don't you go first, Miss Attacker? My name is not Miss Attacker. It's Mina. Mina Ichido. And remember it. I like Pockies, she said. Sasuke eyed twitched at that, as it brought back memories of someone that he rather not remember. Itachi liked Pockies as well. I like training and finding my limits and then breaking through them as well. I also like hanging out with my friends and being with my sister and helping her any way I can. I hate violence, chaos, and meaningless death that don't produce any sort of change. It's my goal, no. It's my ambition to put an end to all chaos one day. And I'll find a way. Big goals. That was all Kakashi said, causing Naruto to look towards Mina. He knew that she was similar like him in that way. She didn't like violence and chaos for no reason. Sasuke was next. His thing was focused on his brother. Naruto was the last. After introducing himself, his name. He liked ramen, he supposed. Hanging out with friends as well. And learning new things and learning about history. And understanding the both sides of things. Kakashi gave him a critical gaze when he said that. He didn't see things as black and white. He saw it as completely above the spectrum. Not everything is as it seems, after all. The winners are the ones that tell the story, not the losers. I guess I'm not certainty on my goal as of yet. But I do aim to see for a better future. A future unlike this one, where children like us don't have to become ninjas. So you don't like what you're doing, said Kakashi. Of course not. Knowing that, I'm going to go out there and fight and perhaps kill, or be killed. It terrifies me. But I can't afford to be afraid of anything if I'm going to survive. And there are people that rely and count on me, and I can't let them down. Therefore, I have to do it. But I hope one day that no kid has to go through something like this. A world where kids and children can grow and be just that, children. Kakashi was rather surprised at Naruto's insightful talk. Well, it seems that the boy wasn't as one-sided as everyone else believed. Hiruzen had give him a tour of each of the kids after all, where they lived, and how things were revolving around them. Mina had recently came to the village after applying to be a citizen here. She and her big sister. There was a background check run on them, and everything that they say was rather legit. Whatever family that she hailed from, that did not seem to specialty in any quirks or anything. Turns out that Mina had unnatural strength. Her and her sister as well. But her sister was not a fighter. She never trained to be a fighter. But Mina on the other hand, she always wanted to be a ninja. Mina was stronger than your average child. Just take it that way. Kakashi told them what would take place tomorrow, and with that they were dismissed. The next day, all of them arrived with their stomach filled. Sasuke had not. Kakashi. Words had not influenced either of them. They had all eaten. Yes. And that was because of Naruto stopping them yesterday, telling them that whatever was going on, he was trying to use their own innocence against them. There was no way that doing a mission or anything would revolve them not eating. In this situation, he wanted them weak for some reason, so it was best if they did that. Sasuke was not really believing what Naruto said, but Naruto told him that sometimes you have to look outside the box and not follow directly. There are always ways to get around the rules. As Kakashi Hatake arrived, 2 hours late, something that Mina was not happy about, he started to explain to them and what was going to happen, showing them the bells. Naruto gave Sasuke a look. Sasuke begrudgingly agreed that Naruto was correct about his earlier assumption. The food was to entice them, so that was just to take them out of the plate just slightly. So they could not trust anything that came from his mouth until everything was official. Begin, Kakashi said. They took to the trees as Naruto was seated on a branch. He closed his eyes and massaged his temple. The recent influx of information flowing into his mind can be stressful sometimes. As Naruto simply stepped off the branch, something that he learned recently, he gathered the Raishi at the bottom of his feet, which allows him to stand on air. That is what it seems like, but he was simply standing on the Raishi, a physical manifestation that could not be seen by anyone except for Quincy's, in this form that is. But when he gathered it into his blade, that was something that was physically being able to see and forcefully arrive in the world, a physical construct, because he believed it was because of his chakra. His body was still producing chakra, despite his ability to control Raishi. At first he thought it was going to be problematic to pick between the two, but it was so easy to transition. So he wouldn't have to think of anything during a battle. After all, the world has no idea about his Raishi just yet. Naruto released the Raishi as he flipped down to the ground. He made his way as Mina was leaning up against a tree. I was wondering how long it would take you. You know, you're a pretty smart girl. Tell me you figured it out already as well. As you say, I'm a pretty smart girl, and I'm not an idiot. I've always wanted to be a ninja, so I read a lot about them. Me too, said Naruto. And there is nothing as a two-man team except for a two-man team apprenticeship, and this is not that. Besides, he lied to us before. What's stopping him from doing it now? Test us. Always. Unity. Friendship. Comrade. That's what Iruka tried to drill into our skull at the academy. And that is what he's trying to break right now. We just have one problem. What? You heard me. Naruto said, looking at Sasuke. And what makes you believe that whatever you're saying is correct? I'm not sure. But if we do fail this area, you can go ahead and fight a Jonin. A man that has passed Genin level, Chunin level, and is now higher than that. I did some digging around last night. I read about a few things, and that man, they call him the Copy Ninja. Apparently he's quite famous. I like to know who I'm going up against. The moment he said test, I figured there was fighting involved. So, you want to pass this or you want to go back to the academy? Sasuke gritted his teeth. Fine. But if this doesn't work... Yeah, I know, said Naruto. Now let's do this. Moments later, Kakashi was observing the forest despite it seems like he was reading his book. As he watched the forest rather carefully, there was a smirk on his face, under his mask. Perhaps they were not a group of lost cause after all. Suddenly, both Naruto and Sasuke came racing out of the foliage. They came towards him, both of them engaging him in taijutsu. Kakashi had to actually put his book away. Sasuke was good, but Naruto, it was like he was reading every one of his moves. Kakashi jumped away as the both of them kept up on him when Sasuke stopped and fled through hand sign. Wait, that's fire style fireball jutsu. Kakashi leaped up to the trees, moving to another one, only for Naruto to cut him off. I'm afraid you're not going anywhere, said Naruto as he threw a fist. Kakashi reached out to grab it, but Naruto pulled his hand back and lashed out the other one before he tilted his head, dodging the grab that Kakashi threw. He grabbed onto his shirt and pulled him down. Kakashi was surprised. This kid was good. Kakashi was faster though. However, something was wrong as Mina came plummeting down. Naruto flipped off his back and moved away. Kakashi flashed away though. Mina's fist slammed through the log that he substituted with. Her fist cracked the earth as she pulled it out and brushed off her knuckles. He's fast. Kakashi flashed behind her, only for her to duck. Naruto already launched a kunai right towards the man's face. The Copy Ninja deflected with a metal plating on the back of his hand as he looked towards Naruto, so quick thinking. However, Mina grabbed the kunai and spun and lashed it towards his waist area. He quickly jumped away, only for Sasuke to launch 3 pairs of kunai. Kakashi turned as he blocked and dodged each and every one of them. He then dashed towards Sasuke, intending on taking him out. However, Sasuke dropped down low. The Copy Ninja narrowed his eyes when he saw Sasuke cutting a wire as a massive log came swinging towards him. Kakashi flipped over said log as he landed right on top of it, as Naruto landed on top of it as well. The both of them started to fight as Sasuke threw a kunai, cutting the rope, causing the log to fall down. Kakashi was impressed with Naruto's stability. He was moving so perfectly on the log so that he wouldn't fall off. As they engaged, Naruto seemed to be reading his move even more. If he wasn't mistaken, he would say that this kid had the goddamn Sharingan. However, Kakashi was still faster, as he started to outwit Naruto with his speed. He proceeded to hit Naruto in the stomach, knocking him off the log. As Naruto was falling down though, Kakashi noticed a smile on his face. Naruto raised his hand and pointed. The Copy Ninja looked down as he saw the explosive tag. Now where would they get their hands on that? Boom! The entire thing blew up as the Copy Ninja reappeared a distance away, having escaped the blast. However, the back plating of his left glove was a bit singed. These kids were good. They were working together. While they were not as smooth as they could be, they were good. Kakashi watches all of them regroup within the center of the training field. The Copy Ninja was confused. He made his way out there, as they were all just standing there like the test was over. You know the test is not over, and if this is some kind of trap, you're making it look a bit too obvious. What do you mean? We already have these, said Naruto, as he held the bells out. Kakashi blinked as he looked down to see. There was nothing there. That's impossible, Mina said. Well, it's not, said Naruto. Kakashi looked towards them. But when? You remember that kunai that I swiped at your stomach? Well, I wasn't aiming for your stomach. You were so preoccupied by getting away and showing us that despite our little boost in strength and our teamwork that we were still not strong enough that you took your mind off the ball, not paying attention. Well, I guess your plan worked, Naruto. We came at him as hard as we can to make him focus on us and us alone and nothing else. And the log, just a distraction, said Kakashi. Exactly, said Naruto. Kakashi wanted to smile, but he kept it. Well, you three did work together rather well. But now the problem lies between who's going to get the bells. Mina, said Naruto. She's going to? No, that's not what I mean. She threw them towards Kakashi. It's either all of us or none of us. Like you said, we work together to get the bells. So we're not going to abandon one another. Isn't that right, Sasuke? Said Naruto. Sasuke looked towards Naruto before. Right, he said, acting all cool as he usually did. So none of you are going to pass then? Kakashi said, stepping forward. Unless you choose a name on who to leave right now. The sky suddenly started to get dark. Again, Jutsu. Pick a name. Now. One of you is going back. Or all of you. Kakashi said, trying to intimidate all of them. However, Naruto placed a hand on both of his teammates' shoulder. Well, I guess it's all of us then, Sensei. The area returned back to normal. Then you guys pass. We do? Sasuke said, thinking that this was going to turn nasty, given how the man came in rather hot. You did exactly what I thought you would not. On that day, Kakashi taught them a valuable lesson on teamwork and not leaving a comrade behind. Time skip. Later that night. It was the dead of night, as Urza was, deep within one of Konoha forests. She was alone. She held her hand out as she spread through hand sign. She bit her thumb and draw her blood on the ground. Her blood started to glow slightly. Chakra. It was a blood sigil. As she performed a rather strange technique. This was no ninjutsu that has ever been seen before, because it was specially created. The next moment, the blood started to accumulate with the earth, forming into a monster of some sorts. An earth monster that came to life. However, it was linked to something else. How is it going? The things suddenly speak. It's going rather well. Mina is watching over him. His spiritual pressure has been awakened, and his abilities are growing. Should we inform him of everything now? No, not just yet. I want you to continue watching him, to guide him down the right path. He's a ninja now, if I'm not mistaken. He is. Soon he will face hardship, and that is when his true test shall begin. And after that, we shall bring him into the fold, and he will be the change that this world has been longing for the longest time now. Is that understood? Yes, Sir Urza said. I will do my best. Do not fail me. This is our last opportunity, our last hope. I will not fail, sir, she said. I hope so. With that, the earth returned back to normal. As Urza made her way, The cut in her hand slowly healing. However, that was not your average healing. If it was a normal person, it would have taken a day or two, but it healed in seconds. As Urza made her way, returning back to the house where Mina was, a far distance away at an unknown location. Footsteps could be heard. Whatever this place was, it was extremely large. For the footsteps to echo as someone was walking. They were making their way down a vast hall. As they finally arrived, stepping out, they went through a door that went through another one. As the cool breeze of the night sky rushed in on them, they stood there basking in it. The person had a dull blonde hair, blue eyes. They were wearing a white coat that covered most of what they were wearing. As the person's hands were to their side, not exposed. Their blue eyes surveyed the darkness of the land down below. After all these years, you have finally awakened once again, as you said that you would. It was the exact same voice that was speaking to Urza a moment ago. This was the man that she was reporting back to, the one that was watching over, the one that wanted Naruto for his purpose. This man who has been alive for an extremely long time now. You changed your reason and your purpose a very long time ago because you believe that this boy shall be the salvation. However, this time, things will be different, Yhwach, he said. But guys, be in so right here. If you want to see next part and do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification stay posted. Remember, share to all of your friends in social media platform. But I'm out for now. See you guys soon. Peace, guys.